Hey everyone, Felipe Vieira here, senior front-end developer with over 15 years of experience in the field. Today, I'm here to bring you a more explanatory video. It won't be very long. A lot of people have been asking me how we can bring the part we generate in Bolt, bring it into the computer and be able to keep modifying it and so on. I have a playlist where we're building the app from scratch. It's explained there as well, but since it's part of a playlist, people end up not finding it. So I decided to make a specific video about Git to teach you how we work with Git once we finish our system. There in Bolt, in Lovable, etc. The reason why these systems that we generate, especially these code generation tools, both Bolt, Lovable is a little different. But Visio, Bolt, and many others, the focus is much more on the appearance, the front end. The integration with the back end is somewhat lacking, although Bolt has now provided this to the base there. With the exception of Lovable, Lovable has a slightly better integration with Lovable, but it does a lot of things behind the scenes. And then to be able to scale and modify it, it becomes quite difficult because you don't even understand what it's doing. So then, what do I recommend? Do I recommend you start your project within these tools? Finally, finish all the screens you want, right? All the functionalities there at the front end level. Download this guy onto your computer and use the Cursor or Windsurf to finish and integrate with your backend. Okay? And for us to do this, and then to do the automated deployment, our VPS there to serve so everyone can use it, right? Our clients, we need to use a version control system, right? Everyone around the world uses Git, right? And this is what I'm going to be teaching you today, okay? It's actually quite simple, okay? I will teach the basic commands, okay? We will access the Git website, okay? This is it here. We will download it, then it depends on what you are using. So whether it's Windows, Mac, or Linux, okay, you choose, then download. It's simple, just click next, next, next. Leave everything selected there as it is in the basic setup, finish, installed, okay, installed. You can open your CMD, which is the command prompt, okay. And you can type there, just Git, only Git, and it will show you everything you can do via command line with Git. So great, Git is installed, okay. So what we are going to do, we are also going to open the cursor here. Okay, the cursor actually. Okay, it's an app I was working on. Okay, I will open another one here for us to take a look. Actually, I'll do better. We will come here, okay? And we will go to Bolt and we are going to do something so we can complete the entire flow. So we downloaded, we installed Git, everything is okay. It's installed on our PC. We verified that it's installed and we will come here to Bolt. I will open one that I had already done or create one from scratch, no problem. Let's open it so we don't waste tokens, right? $20 with our real. At 6:15, it's difficult. Here we will take this guy here. All right. There are 10 million tokens per day. I think this guy already has a predefined look, okay? This is not yet the final version of this guy here. This is a guy I'm working on. To deliver there in the subscribers section, okay, because now our channel will have a subscribers section, okay. It's like a closed group where I will post slightly more advanced content for this closed group. Okay. If you want, just click the button to become members, okay. Give some support to the channel and you will have access to some slightly more advanced content, some tips that I use in my daily life. Okay, ready and everything else. I will put there, right? Everything that we normally use, that I use professionally in my daily life, will be available to you in the members area. Okay. This is a guy that I'm working on there. It's also in the members area, okay? It has integration with artificial intelligence, and everything else here is just the front end. Okay, I haven't done the integration yet, right? I'm going to do it together with the guys. It's what happens, which is ideal for you. You will first have an idea. You will create all the screens and finish them. The screens, let's suppose it's finished here. Let's suppose everything is linked. This guy isn't finished yet, but let's suppose it is. We're going to click here. Look, download. Okay, export, download. It will download a zip to our machine, right? Is it similar to what we have in that playlist we're making in the Bolt app from scratch? We did the same scheme, okay, but I didn't go much into explanations. Let me finish. It will come like this. We will click on project, select all of this, and extract it to the folder you are using. Here it is. We can give a name to the project. Okay. So you just go to where you keep your projects, right? And set a name for this one. This one here is that AI. Transcriptor, done. Then you leave the name, you will open the folder, okay? Here, look, AI transcriptor. We are going to copy this one here inside, okay? We will make the copy. All right, we know where it is. Repos and app transcriptor, okay. All right. And what are we going to do? We are going to enter our cursor, okay? So in the cursor, we go to File, Open Folder, or IndySurf, whichever you find better. Later, I will also record a video for you to talk about the pros and cons of each one. It's from the IndySurf of the cursor. What is the ideal flow? What is the flow that I use? Because there are some peculiarities among all and in the generators as well, like bolt v0 and the Lovable, including that we are going to click here to select the folder. It will remove everything from here, okay? And it will open for us. All right, it's loading here. Mine takes a while to load because it has a lot of extensions. Okay, I pressed from VS Code. Yours should open a bit faster. Then you will click here for it to open the terminal. You see, you will simply click on terminal. It will already be open inside this folder, so it's very important. We are inside the folder of our repository. Okay. Wait for it to load the terminal. When we install Git, we can install Bash, which is a terminal from GitHub itself. That's what I use, okay? But it's no problem if you use your own terminal. It's fine, okay? By clicking here, because it's closing. This is the PowerShell from Windows. Okay. It's taking a little while to open Bash because it's loading the extensions, right? It has already loaded. Great. This guy here doesn't have any Git, nothing, right? Just another thing out of curiosity. If we enter the Bolt folder and click on prompts, we have some default prompts that Bolt does internally. In all the commands you send, okay, just so you have an idea, that all the AIs, especially the ones I bring to you, Cursor, Windsurf, Bolt, Lovable 2, IV0, are great and excellent. You can create a product from scratch to finish, right? All of them, all of them. What will change the quality is how you talk to them, how you interact with them, and how you construct your prompts. That's basically it, okay? All of them can be used to create a product from scratch in different ways, but all of them can, okay, this is explained. What we are going to do, let's go back to our Bolt screen. And here is what we are going to do. In our Git, we are going to click here. Look, create new repository, okay? There. Usually name it with the same name you used for the folder. It's not necessary, but it's good for you to have easy location and intelligibility of things. Okay. Here, if you leave it public, anyone who accesses your repository will be able to see this code, okay? If you leave it private, only you will see this repository. So if it's a product you are thinking of monetizing and launching, the ideal is to set it to private, okay? Let's keep it private. This guy doesn't need to put this. Also, let me just check if it's all set and create the repository. All right. It will create a repository for us here. It's created, but it's empty and it's quite simple. Look at what it will say. To send from the command line, the existing repository, which is us. We already have an initialized system and everything. That's basically it. We will say Git, the address of my repository is this one. So we will copy, go back to Git and do this. This is important. Also, here it is saying, since we downloaded Bolt directly, it doesn't have the Git configurations because it wasn't initialized in Git. It's not versioned. So what do we have to do? We have to write Git init. With Git init, we indicate that this repository is Git, right? So, all right. And that's basically what it says when it's not a repository, you see. This part isn't necessary. Okay. It's the Git init that we did, Git init. Here it is saying Git add. Let's talk a bit about the commands. Git init is for you to initialize the repository. Okay. Git add. Are you telling Git add this file so I can send it to my repository? Basically, that's it. Separate this file that I want to send here. It's telling you to add the readme MD, but we don't have your repository, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to go back there. We can do the following git add because we want to add all the files that are here. Okay. Dot. What is the dot? Add everything. I don't want to specify one by one. Okay. Add everything. But I think it's interesting not to send the bolt one. Okay. I think it's interesting not to version the bolt one because we don't need that in our repository. Okay. So what are we going to do? There's a little file here. Look. Called gitignore. Okay, I'll enlarge it here for you. This guy here, look, we're going to double click. You see, it's all the stuff we don't want to send. We tell the gitignore. So we're going to see that it's green here when it's green. It's that it's going to send. So what we're going to do is put .bolt, which is the folder there. Save. You see that it turned gray here. It won't be sent anymore. Okay, if we want to remove another item, it's the same thing. If here we have something like components, features, tools, this item, we will have to add app, components, features, tools. And the file name, okay, this is to ignore. Okay, so great. We don't want to ignore, we want to add everything else. So git add, see, it added all our files, okay? Added our files. We are going to make a commit. What is a commit? It's a git commit. We use a -m, which stands for message. We will add a comment for ourselves to know what we are sending. Okay. The reason for this, okay. The reason for this, everyone, when we are working with software, sometimes it's a large team and everything, and several people are working on the same software, right? And we need to have traceability of what we are doing, okay? So that later, if we want to go back to this specific point, we can, to have an intelligible commit message for us, to see it in Git and find our way. Or sometimes something goes wrong. We know what was added and what might have affected that bug. Okay. So it's very important for traceability, right? So we will type git commit m and write a commit message. Here is the commit. initial of the application. So this is the initial one. Okay. All right. It created. It hasn't been sent yet. Okay. To send it, we do here afterwards. That's what it's going to say. It's going to say that it doesn't know which URL it's sending to. Remember when we tried to enter the URL and it said it wasn't a Git repository? We did init, but we didn't provide the URL to it. So that's why it's saying this. And it's quite explanatory. When we make a wrong command and so on, it will tell us. So what is it saying? You need to tell me where you want to send this guy. So where do we want to send this guy? It's simply this line here. So we're going to go back. We're going to tell it that it's this guy here. All right, it already knows it's this guy here. Then git push. That's what it's saying here, okay? It's saying that it doesn't have a named branch. Oh, there to be able to send, right? You're not giving it a name and everything else. So here, you're telling it, well, you're going to send to the branch orange. So you're going to select CarLC. Click here, CarLV. All right. Just to explain the command, you're saying that the origin, originally from the server, is called master. So you're sending it there, okay? Just hit enter. All right. Here it said it's okay, right? So let's look at the repository. We're going to refresh the repository. All right. We already have our repository with all our files. Here, versioned C. The application is here, the commit, we click here on the commit. Our commit message will appear, see. When we click on it, we can see what was changed, see. Usually on the left is what it was, and on the right is what it became. Since it's the first commit, it will say there was nothing and it was created. But when we change something, for example, I'm not showing it, right? I'll put it here just to show you. Let's make a change here. Everything. For example, control. Command S to save work. That's what we're going to do. Another interesting command, Git Status. What does Git Status say? Of this entire repository, what is modified so I can roughly know what I changed. What will it say? You modified, then it creates this status. That's what you're going to do. Same thing, okay? It will add this to the commit queue, your person, your status. All right. It's saying there, you see that this guy was modified. Then we go back to git commit, commitma, and we will say changed, A credits, title. That's exactly what we did. Committed, then we just need to say git push, okay? Done. So what are we going to do? Let's go back to Git there just to show you how it turned out, okay? We go back to the repository and it will say that in the folder it will change the commit, you see. Change the AI credit title. But if we look here, we see that we already have 2 commits. We will click here, change, then it will say, well, it was like this, and now it's like this. So you have traceability of everything you're doing, okay? So great, we learned what a repository is. We learned how to take it on the PC and use it for the repository. Then everything we do directly from the IDE. So we keep working here, asking it to do, making the integrations we want, blah, blah, blah. The important thing, a good practice already. Everything we are going to do, we open a composer for each feature we are going to implement. I want to integrate with login. We open a composer from scratch. Keep talking to make the integrations. Once finished, you test that part. It worked. You come here, commit just this part. Add it, log into the application, commit, push, all good. Why? Because sometimes you might even get lost in the composer, end up commenting on a bunch of things, and it changes your code completely. You get lost and no longer know what is working and what isn't. And sometimes you might commit something without testing a page, and it breaks your commit, so you can go there and do a comparison. See all the files, right? So you can have traceability of your system. I know that most of you are not technical people, don't understand much about programming, but this is kind of a one-way path. As you are getting into this path of low code and everything else, you are starting in the development area, and I believe and hope that all of you will come to the development area, which is really cool. So normally the workflow is like this, okay? To do the push and everything else. Then what else can we do? People also ask if I can revert this code to Bolt and make changes there. Theoretically, you can, but what do you have to do? You have to install bolt.diy, which is the new Bolt that people are making for the local version, okay. And you will have to do this on it because it has the functionality to upload your local files and you can make changes on it. However, you will have to link it with a pick from Anthropic there, so you will have to pay for the pick from Anthropic to have a quality similar to what Bolt is. It's still not the same as Bolt's. Bolt's is better because of the prompts, okay? The Bolt web, so it won't be 100%. So it works. Now the web boot there, what I pay for, does it work? It doesn't work. It's down, folks. It's over. It's only on your machine, okay? So you will be able to make front-end changes and everything else via Cursor Windsurf. You can't reinsert it there, okay? What else? I passed it to the guy who is a dev for him to make the changes, and I also made changes here. And then how do you do it? Then you will work like the IT people work today, okay? You will send your modifications, and the person will send their modifications. Then the last one who modified will take the modifications made by the previous person, incorporate them into their code, add what they did, and upload it. So, if more than one person is working, it gets a bit more complex. And we need to understand a bit more about Git concepts, merge concepts, rebase concepts, and everything else, which is a bit more advanced. If you follow what I just explained to you, download it to your PC, send it to your repository, work directly in the IDE, both front and back, do everything in the IDE, and commit, just you. There won't be any problem. You will work smoothly, there won't be any issues. You can do it without worry. If you make changes elsewhere and try to update here, it's possible, but it's complex and someone without knowledge in the area won't be able to do it. So, for today's video, folks, I just wanted to cover this part of Git, okay? I hope you understood, all right? If you didn't understand, please leave comments here. What you didn't understand, any other concept you find confusing and want me to explain, ask here and I'll bring it to you as well, okay? And reminding everyone, my course. I believe the first class will be out by the end of the month, all right? In January. So, finish up here I will. Put the link to the form in the comments for you to answer what you want to see in the course. Everything else, what you expect to learn from the course, which is very important for me to know what content I will provide to you. I have a lot of technical knowledge and I will convert all of this into a completely accessible language for those of you who are entering the field or for those of you who are not familiar with programming and want to pivot the MVP or to earn a second extra income with the internet, which is super possible, plausible, and likely okay. So respond here, put your real email because you will get a 50% discount on the course, all right? The course will be yours forever. You will pay and have access to it forever. There's no such thing as annual access or subscription, nothing. Once you pay, it's yours, okay? And finishing up, if you like the content, share it with friends who have a lot of ideas, who are starting with Bolt and everything else. Tell them about the channel as well, okay? If you liked it, give it a like. If you didn't like it, also give it a dislike to understand which content is working and which isn't, okay? That's basically it, folks. Thanks. See you next time.